Hi, everybody. This is a wee bit of alchemy. I'm Rick Barrett. Welcome. Last week, we were exploring elbow chin, Zhou chin, or one of the eight essential uh, energy gates of Tai Chi. And the way I introduced it was primarily a way of releasing your shoulder tension. And so by reaching with your elbows, you're enabled you to open up your shoulder joints and allow the energy to move freely through there. And since a lot of people have shoulder tension as like a real issue, then this is a really simple way of changing that, reprogramming your body mind so that uh, you can initiate, from the elbow rather than from the shoulder. And I've been talking about this for many years, but it always strikes me as like how it doesn't stick with people a lot. To uh, a few advanced students get the joke, but it oftentimes it's like it it's a pleasurable experience, but then it doesn't stick. And it occurred to me today that presenting it in that way, while incredibly valuable, is also limited, and it whenever the shoulder problem goes away, at least temporarily, then we don't do it because you've solved the problem. And so I'd like to present it in a different way because it's actually that's just the tiniest uh, tip of the iceberg, for what is available with the elbow chin. And so the what I'd like to reframe this to rather than solving problems with it, we're thinking about what can you create with this. So the idea here is that we have this door into the essential energies of Taiji, and what is the this gate? What is where does it take us? And the what I have found is that it enhances every aspect of your kung fu, not just Taijiquan, but anything else that you're doing. If you can learn to do that as a practice, not just a practice, but as just a preferred way of being, then cool stuff happens. And one of the really cool things is that it immediately transports you into a superconscious state. You immediately get into this heightened state of body, mind, spirit integration, which then opens the door to a whole lot more, particularly the ability to perceive with the eye of spirit. And I've talked many times about how a way of talking about our different ways of processing, using our awareness. How about that? Ways of using the eye of flesh, which is our preconscious, our body mind, that which uh, the incredible vast amount of information that is generated just to keep you alive and to be able to move. And it's happening at a preconscious level. That is, you're not thinking about it. You're not telling your heart to beat unless you are. And for the most part, though, it's doing a fine job on its own. And even though when you're meditating, you can actually slow it down, speed it up, and you can do other things in order to control your heart rate. But whenever it's operating at a preconscious level, you're not interfering in that. So then we have the conscious mind, which is the mind that it's the eye of mind, which is the part that thinks, the part that is aware, being aware, and uh, it operates within the realm of the five senses. It translates this information that comes from the five senses and into experience, into perception. We're getting sensations that are coming in as raw data, but then we go into, whenever the mind gets involved, we start to perceive things. We say, "Oh, that is the color blue," or that smells like smoke, or whatever. So you start to tell yourself a little story about that. We go beyond that into the eye of spirit, and that is where we have moved beyond the limits of the conscious mind, the rational mind, and the five senses, and we're starting to perceive more. We're starting to be able to understand more. And last week I talked about how understanding Jin is the pathway to spiritual illumination. And that was from the classics. And they talk about that. The more you can understand Jin, the more you're able to access your higher spiritual nature. So this eye of spirit is something that we cultivate in our Taijiquan, and the more we can bring that into our awareness and learn to trust our perceptions with our eye of spirit, the more dependable it becomes as a tool, the more it's something more we can operate in this higher state of awareness and be able to use all the tools that are available to us in the internal arts. And so what we're doing, anytime that simple action of just reaching with my elbow and opening up my shoulder joint, yes, it does release my tension in my shoulder, and that's pretty cool. But more important is that it kicks in that superconscious state, and I'm then able to perceive stuff that is not limited to the five senses, and that opens up a whole range of experience that is virtually unlimited. So I'm suggesting here that we're creating this as a priority. You're saying, elbow Jin, at least until it becomes a pattern that your body mind wants to go to just because it feels so good. And then you have to do it consciously and deliberately until you don't have to, because it just feels good and your body goes there anyway. And so suggesting that this is not just a solution to a problem, but you're creating something much bigger. You're creating this is a palette on which you can use to paint something that is beyond your current understanding, but it'll become more available to you the more you open up your eye of spirit. So the way I suggest to do this is to really incorporate it into your practice, so that it at least for a while it becomes the dominant thing. In the past, I've suggested point and reach with your index fingers until that becomes, do it 100 times a day or 1,000 times a day until it becomes just something that you do. And for many of you, you've taken that advice, and that is, that's a useful tool for you. This doesn't negate that at all, but I'm suggesting that in addition to that, you're reaching with your elbows. And so just to review that, we can, just like you could touch your elbow and just press down against your fingers. Feel the resistance of the fingers there. That's very light, but you're just opening up that shoulder joint. And the idea here is not the focus on the resistance of the fingers and overcoming that, but that you're opening up that shoulder joint as you do that. As you reach, you're feeling that shoulder joint open, and there's an insubstantiality that comes with that. There's an insubstantial state of awareness there that you it feels expansive, light, and it there is an alertness that comes to your mind that comes with that shift. So this is just opens the door a crack, and the more you do it, the deeper you can go. The deeper you go, that becomes incorporated into your being, and then you go deeper from there, and it keeps expanding into higher, wider, and deeper as you go. But part of our kung fu is learning to access these things and be able to control them, to start, change, and stop them, and be able to go there when we need to. This is particularly apropos of us as martial artists, our ability to execute these things at will. To execute our jin at will is essential to being able to apply martial Taijiquan or Bagua or Xingyi as a martial art. And that means that you are creating this effect. It's not just something happening. It's not just something that, oh, if I reach with my shoulder, my elbow, then stuff happens to me. It's like, no, I'm doing it. I'm creating this effect by reaching. I'm creating a new state of being that awakens new possibilities in me. So we're going to do some exercises, simple stuff, and then just to heighten awareness of the elbow chin, slowing it way down, and then we're going to incorporate it into some bagua movements that we've done before, but we'll do them really nice and slow with particular emphasis on that, and with the idea that if you can do it in these things, you can do it in anything, but that becomes your palette that you get to create with. This is something not just you're doing it because I'm telling you to do it. It's you are the creator of your kung fu at that point. So please stand up and let's do some stuff. Okay, let's begin with our 3 pillars. Get the energy going, plug into the big chi, and get coherent. But first, just point and reach with your index fingers and feel those fingers and feel the energetic coherence in your body. And pointing and reaching also activates the tensegrity of your connective tissue system, takes it to a higher level. Just feel into that, feel into your hands and notice the effect there. But more importantly, tune into the insubstantial effect of this. We can notice these substantial things like fingers are pulsing, hands are feeling full. You can feel your blood vessels, feel the blood in your blood vessels. You can feel maybe some heat in your hands. Those are all substantial. But looking to the insubstantial aspect of that, there is a feeling there that is beyond the limits of your senses. I'm going to tune into that. And notice your mind is clear. We've moved into a superconscious state just by feeling those index fingers, pointing and reaching. Now feel your heels, the 3 nails, feel the heel nail on the inside of your foot. Knees are unlocked, so you're sinking down, 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 very stung. Feel your body getting very heavy, very dense, as we open the gates and the feet to the earth chi, feel the filling with that very dense feminine energy, yin chi of the earth. Feel the heaviness in your arms, your fingers, everything is pulling down. This is your conversation with the earth. You feel it, you know, you feel it as gravity, as the way we converse with the earth. Now reach up with the crown of your head and tuck in your chin. Open the jade pillow gate at the base of your skull. And allow the Jingshen, spirit of vitality, to rise and enter your brain, into the Niwan Gong, the center of your brain. This opens the gates for the Yang Qi of the heavens. Come down and feel your body and exit through your feet. So you're becoming part of this vast circuit. You're a link in the chain between heaven and earth. Relax your lower back and drop your sacrum. Feel yourself sinking more into the earth, while at the same time reaching up the crown. Now we're going to unkink the hose. We're going to reach with the elbows, opening up the shoulder joints. So you're reaching, the arms are slightly rounded. Feel the space in your shoulder joints. Feel the heaviness of your arms. Very soon. Unlock your hips, get very soon claw, just spiral down to the left, spiral down to the right, left, right. Just very easy, relaxed. You can level out your pelvis, your pelvic bowl, and it becomes easier to release your hip joint. Those are 3 pillars. Like we did last week, just reach over, pick up your right hand with your left, and just so that your right hand is totally relaxed, your right arm is totally relaxed, so that if you were to release, your arm just drops. And pick it up again, and just feel that relaxed very soon, and just release that. So that we have this, your arm is very, very relaxed. Now, reach down with your elbow, open up the shoulder joint, and feel that. And relax that. Point your index finger of your right hand and just gradually let go of your right wrist with your left hand, but keeping your arm so very relaxed. As much, release as much muscular tension as you can. Now just bring your fingers under your elbow, just push down, give yourself reaching through your fingers to the fingers of your left hand, your right elbow, opening, and just feel the shoulder joint opening up. As you do that, notice the insubstantial aspect. I'm asking you to perceive now with your eye of spirit. I want you to perceive, notice that something is changing that maybe you don't have words for, but there's a different quality in your state of being. Just feel that. And take that hand away and relax your arm and then reach with the elbow again. Just feel that, reaching with the elbow. Good. And bring your arm out from your body. Same thing out here. You're pressed down with your elbow, so you're feeling that shoulder joint open, but focus more on the insubstantial quality of that. Let go of that, and then just reach with that elbow and let go. So this is our basic format here. And then reach down with your elbow. It's take your left hand and pick that up and relax that, release that point, and just feel that space. Now, reach forward with your left arm, pointing as you reach forward. Relax. Reach with that elbow. Reach with that elbow and open your shoulder joint. And to feel press down with your other hand and notice that you have much more strength than with more effortless power there in your arm as you do that. Now we're going to set that elbow, so you're going to first touch it so that you're locating it in space, right? And then rotate your forearm. And then rotate it back. So all we're doing with the right hand here, you're moving your left arm. Your right hand is here, a little closer. What we're doing here with this is we're pointing with that index finger. This just creates a location in space. So that now when we take that away and we rotate that, we're still creating this location. We're setting the elbow. And I've said this 1,000 times over the years here, but this is what it means to set the elbow. That means to pick a location, and then that becomes your pivot point. Then you can set that, and then you can raise the forearm and lower it. We're creating a conscious setting here. And this is, it may sound trivial to do this, but it's actually, it requires a certain amount of reprogramming because your shoulder generally wants to take over the conversation. But now we're going to take the elbow out to the side. Same idea here. You set the elbow and we're going to rotate it out here. We're creating this point in space. And to the degree that I can locate my elbow, open my shoulder joint, I am going to generate a tremendous amount of chin just by doing that. And this motion of my arm doesn't require a whole lot of muscular effort to make something happen there because I'm creating chin by doing that. But more important than all that is, how does that feel? Notice that quality of that insubstantial quality that I'm calling the eye of spirit here. That is, you are perceiving something more. And it's beyond energy, although energy is part of it. We're we're talking about something that is even more insubstantial than that. So then bring your elbow down to your side, set your elbow there, and rotate your form. And then set your elbow and reach down and reach back. And just notice how much attention it requires to keep that elbow set. But this is the source of the power that the effortless power that we're getting here. We're creating this. So if we go into a posture, let's say like a ward-off posture, you reach with that elbow like this, and then you curve the arm in front of your chest, and you then, if you press in on that, you'll notice that you have a tremendous amount of pungent, that ward-up energy, just by setting your elbow in that way. That is not there if you're using pure muscular contraction. This way, it's the power comes from whole body connection. So then you bring that arm down and just feel into both your arms now, and feel how alive your left arm is, if that was the one you're using, and just feel how sparkly the energy feels in that arm. You may feel a lot more blood flow in that arm as well. Now we're going to take this and we're going to put it into some Bagua movements, some Bagua jaw movements, some that we've practiced recently. But it doesn't matter if you're just tuning in and these are unfamiliar to them. We're going to go nice and slow. Our primary objective here is elbow awareness, being able to consciously set the elbow joint, the elbow, and open the shoulder joint, and create this Shojin, is open this particular energy gate. So I'll turn my back to you. And we're going to go back to the three pillars here. We're going to feel the weight in the heels, reach with the crown of the head, feel reach with the elbows, and just open up your shoulder joints. Tuck in your chin. Point and reach with your index fingers. And just feel the power, the internal power that is there even without doing anything. Reach up your wrists. And reach with your elbows and open your shoulder joints. Reach with your fingers and open. Now, reach with your elbows as your arms come around. Feel that. Nice and slow. Down, palms up. Reach forward. Feel your elbows there. Your shoulder joints. Feel the connection from your fingers through your feet and into the earth. You know, that whole body energetic connection. You know, very simply, we're going to spiral down to the left, pivot on the right heel, and reach under with the right hand, and reach with that elbow, the right elbow. Feel your shoulder joint opening. Feel your left elbow, reach with that. Feel both shoulder joints opening, and turn. And press out with your hands, but reaching with the elbows. Feel that connection there. See my feet. Let me get a little broader shot on that one. So feel that. So you're reaching with the elbows, and feel into that posture. Feel the energetic connection there, but also feel beyond that. Feel that change of state. Good. Now reach with your left elbow as you're turning. Rotate. Set your right elbow and rotate your forearm. The palm is up. The right palm is up. Pivot. Reach that left elbow and open up. Feel your back opening up. Just feel that you're extending through the back and reach out with the left hand. Continue to reach with that elbow, the left elbow. Feel the relationship between your elbow and your shoulder, your torso. Pivot on your left heel. Turn to your right, reach under. Rotate that left forearm. Turn around. Reach with both elbows. Feel that connection. Rotate, set your elbows and rotate your forearms, palms up. Just feel that power there. Point and reach with your index fingers. Rotate back. Open your shoulder joints and just do it again. And back. And pivot on your left heel. Reach with your right elbow. Turn. Reach out with your left hand. And then turn back. Reach. Rotate. Set your right elbow. Rotate that forearm and palm up. Feel that. Don't worry about memorizing any of this. Doesn't matter. Just doing an exercise together just to feel this. Feel both your elbows as you do this. And turn, rotate. Pivot on your right heel. Rotate your right arm. Set your right elbow, rotate, and reach under your left arm. Turn, reach with both elbows. Twist the body. Feel the spiraling energy coming up from the earth through your legs, through your torso, down your arms. Feel that energy spirals as you're going out there. Amplified by your Zhou, your elbow chin. And with your left elbow, pivot on your right heel. Rotate your right forearm. Turn. Pause. Feel both elbows. Open your back. Turn. Pivot on your left heel. With your left elbow. Both palms down. Reach with your elbows. Feel. Feel the density of the space under your hands. It's like you're pressing down on something viscous, like you're pushing down on water in a swimming pool. Feel the density of the space. As we refine our perceptions, we're using the eye of spirit, these things become more solid to us. They become denser, they become more viscous. With your right elbow, pivot on your left heel. Rotate your right forearm. Turn. Pivot. Pivot on your right heel. Press down. The key here is the goal here is to really familiarize yourself with the insubstantiality of the state that gets generated in the superconscious state. Reach with your left elbow, pivot, rotate your right forearm, with your left heel, reach with both elbows, press down. Put it on your left heel, reach under with your right hand. Feel those elbows as you turn. This time, both palms up, reaching outward. Really open your shoulder joints, reach with those elbows, and feel yourself expand. Feel that expansive energy as you do that. Pivot on your right heel. Under, turn, and open. And reach with your elbows. Feel that expansiveness. Open your chest, open your back. Reach with your crown. Feel this very yang posture. This is a heaven posture. Pivot, step around, and down. Pause and just feel into your body mind. Notice all that's occurring there at various levels of substantiality. Your rational mind won't be able to keep track of all that, so don't worry about that, but just notice it. Again, take a deep breath. balls of your feet, press down with your big toes, do that yawn, and then sink into your heels and disappear the chi, dissolve into the emptiness. Scott,
So the emphasis you made tonight on the difference between energy and spirit was really, really helpful. I don't think I'd ever really gotten it before to that degree, and I, just, I like the sparkly description. It's
Mark.
sparkly. It kind of fits.
Great, thank you. Valerie,
I think this is the first time that I really, really experienced the setting of the elbow.
Mm.
I think I said this last week that this isn't new stuff, but it is new. Um, Presented perhaps in a different way. And I'm able to perceive it in a different way. The one thing that I noticed is, I mean, amongst a lot of stuff, but you can't breathe fast when you're doing this. You know, there's that whole song quality that's there, um, while you're completely expanded, uh, but uh, impossible to breathe fast with that. And understanding better and better the setting of the elbow and what that produces, what that allows to come through. It's almost, there's not words. It's kind of, you have to experience it, really get yourself set up for it and really set the elbow and stay. I mean, I found especially as we were turning, I would feel my shoulders. Not maybe while I was turning, but then I go, oh, my shoulders, the shoulders aren't doing this. Let the elbows be set. And, then noticing that very marked difference that would happen when I would experience that. And I get what Nick was talking about, not being in the back foot, but that, and what Ricky just was talking about before we even started, that whole body involvement, just, and the attention that it takes. Uh, Yay, just yay.
eloquently stated. Thank you, Valerie. That's great. Appreciate that. Thank you. Lynn, you're on mute.
First, I think that Valerie's like, this isn't new, right? But it's new. I think really illustrates that way, that great quality that these practices have of allowing us to continue to deepen and find, like, oh, I'm finding a new thing in something I've done a million times before in one way, and now I'm like doing it in a slightly new way. And I just love that. But for me, I was, yeah, head to toe one um, sparkly entity, um, and really didn't feel like I was using my shoulders or needing to put them down, but I did feel like a little tension right on these little shoulder points. And I don't know if that's muscles that I had been using and that were like sort of getting stretched, or whether that was the shoulders trying to fight back or what. But just I felt that, but it didn't change the state at all, right? Which was really cool.
Yeah. As you explore this, you're going to find more about shoulders. More
More
than
about,
there's a lot going on there. Richard.
What I seem to be working on it, first of all, you have to accept that it doesn't come easily or quickly. But what I'm starting to have a sense of now is even when I'm reaching with my elbow or holding my elbow in space, I can still tell the difference between whether my shoulder is supporting my arm or not. So I'm starting to understand that I can sense when my energy is supporting my arm instead of my shoulder. It's a little, for me, I have a problem with my right shoulder, which I've had for a long time. It's been much better lately, but it's still touchy. And I can really tell with that arm because holding my arm in space, if I'm supporting it with my shoulder, it's not comfortable. So I can work on trying to use that shoulder. And when I am able to support it with my energy, then the discomfort starts to lessen. So it gives me some feedback that I'm starting to think that it's good for me right now to have had that shoulder injury because I'm much more in touch with whether my shoulder is supporting it or not. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but
Total sense to me. I like you. I've banged up my right shoulder many times over the last year. A lot of scar tissue there, and this exercise is giving me an opportunity to let go of things and repattern the tissue in a whole new way. So I would not have gone there had it not been injured. So so I'm with you with that.
I think I'm starting to learn to open that joint, which actually relieves the tension.
Terrific. Beautiful. Jonathan.
Your wonderful emphasis on not just doing the movement, but being conscious of it. The elbow always just seems like the middle child between the hand and the shoulder, and gets ignored. And it's just this whole notion of, oh, I have this elbow here. I mean, just that, elbow awareness, let alone then what we're going to do with our elbow awareness. It strikes me that Superman pose we used to talk about, right, is just like a good way to start. Instead of just standing, you got 1,000 opportunities a day instead of just whatever this is, to do this. And I realize an attitude comes with that. Like, who do you think you are?
Mhm.
But I have the answer to that already. Not who I was. Because, it is a kind of like, whoa, what is that? Well, yeah, it feels powerful. And powerful feels a little like who do you think you are? But I think I need to be who I think I might be if I do the Superman pose, So anyway, I'm just checking in with you all. Then check in with me next week, because I'm going to try it I am going to pledge myself in front of you all to doing this 1,000 times this week.
That's a real what else is possible for you, Jonathan.
And all of us, but
and
yes,
all of us, of course.
Yeah.
Me especially, yeah. Instead of my schleppy kind of,
I think that's really important what you said, Jonathan, right? Like, whoa, who do you think you are? That moment that we all have where I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this, or it's just I don't recognize this power in me because it seems other, or it seems scary, or we're not, we don't have a habit of thinking about ourselves like that. So I really appreciate you saying that, because bringing it up helps for all of us to say, wait, don't let that little niggling mind get in the way of superpowers.
Right. I mean, and then look, I mean, Rick does this already. He's the example of like, yeah, but that's who he is. But we can be like him if we, get in touch with our elbows in this way and be comfortable in that. That's the thing. We can do what he does, but he owns it. And I don't own this. That's for sure. This is like, yeah, Halloween's coming around,
I don't know. It looks good on you.
But
Yay! Thank you
as
for
I
that.
said before,
Number one. Thank you.
as I said before, it's something that is created. It's something I had to create in myself to be able to own that. I had to say, no, that thing there, that I want more of that, and then just kind of work on what are the false parts of me that I have to dispose of in order to be able to go to that place of self-empowerment, where I feel like, oh yeah, this is comfortable, and it's so it's a great opportunity for exactly what you're saying there. Reflection is like, oh, these little demons will pop up, and then you get to say, how much am I going to listen to the demon, and how much am I going to go with this other thing, and so we get to play with that. But doing it 1,000 times in the next week is a worthy goal there. I like it. Scott.
What I definitely noticed is that you've got to keep bringing your attention back to your elbows, because my brain kept saying, yeah, we got this. And no, I don't got this. I got it this second, but I don't have it the next second if I'm not there.
Yes.
Exactly. And I will say, having done this a long time, it gets easier. It gets so that it's just a thought away. Boom, you're there, and you don't even have to do anything obvious to make it happen. You just I think I'll open my shoulder joints now, and boom, it's there. You don't have to, physically do anything once you have internalized it, because it's happening at this micro level. But it takes time to make those changes. Time and practice. Great. Thank you all so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Maria.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Maria.
Thank you, production staff.
See you guys.
Maria.
Bye bye.